time for spelling analysis. And this is spelling analysis for Foundations D. Now, you can either use the page from your Foundations D workbook for spelling analysis to write your words. A great option is to have the whole workbook. Then you have every page you need. Or you can print off this page if you have the paid course. Or the other way you could do this is you could use a whiteboard. If you're using the Logic of English whiteboard, you could write the words here, or you could write them on the back and be able to write all 8 of them on the back side. So to get started, you will either need that page or a whiteboard, or you could just use a piece of paper. So here's what we're going to do. Go ahead and set down your pencils or your markers. At first, I need you just to listen. And then we're going to be segmenting words out loud, and then you'll be writing, and then you'll segment them for me, and I will write them. We'll get the rhythm down really fast. All right, these words in Foundations D are more advanced than they were in Foundations A, B, or C. You know all of the phonograms now, and you know many of the spelling rules. So we will be applying all of the phonograms and rules you've learned to be able to spell and read and understand even more words. So our first word is mother. My mother is reading a book. Mother. Go ahead and say mother. Mother. Now, how many syllables in mother? Remember, we've learned that we can hum the words to count the syllables. There are 2 hums, so that means there are 2 syllables. 2 syllables. All right, now, do you hear a vowel that might be saying it's lazy sound, or it's schwa sound, or sounding like mother? I do too. So when we segment words, I'm going to say something called say to spell. When I say that, I'm going to give you the syllable breaks, and I'm going to pronounce schwad vowels very carefully. So that's your cue. Say to spell is your cue. Listen carefully. All right, we will say to spell moth-er. Now, what will we say to spell? Repeat after me. Moth-er. Do you got it? One more time. What will we say to spell? Moth-er. Now, let's segment each syllable. The first syllable is moth. Let's sound it out. V. The second syllable is Use the of her. Go ahead and write moth-er. And as you write it, leave a space between the syllables. We will use that to see spelling rules. So go ahead and do that. And as you write it, sound it out. Sound it out very loud so I can hear you if I was in the same room as you. Good, you're sounding it out. Excellent. Now, I want you to say out loud the syllables with me and to sound it out with me. Why? Because as you sound it out, it's going to help you learn and master these words and to understand the reason for the spelling. The great thing about Logic of English is you'll understand why you're not just memorizing by rote. All right, so the first syllable is moth. The second syllable is How will we mark this? Well, you're right. We'll underline the v. And what sound of do we hear in mother? The second one, you're right. And we'll underline the Now, do you see that O is saying it's lazy sound? Why is that? That's right. O may say next to a W, TH, M, N, or V. And here it is next to an M and a TH. So as we learned, the monks, when they were transcribing, sometimes they wrote the O as the sound as an O to keep all those straight lines from being next together. So we will say to spell mother, and that'll help our ears have a way to remember it. It's just another way to remember the spelling. So and we say mother. Excellent. The next word is penguin. The penguin is black and white. Penguin. Go ahead and say penguin. How many syllables in penguin? 2. We will say to spell pen-gwin. What will we say to spell? Pen-gwin. The first syllable is pen. Let's sound it out. P-e-n. The second syllable is gwin. Gwa. Do you see that? Gwa-e-n. Go ahead and write pen-gwin. And remember, I held up 2 fingers because gwa is spelled with 2 letters. Penguin. Good job sounding it out as you're writing it. Now help me to write it. The first syllable is pen. P-e-n. The second syllable is gwin. Gwa-i-n. How will we mark this? You're right, we'll underline the gwa. And what sound of gwa is this? It's the second, so we'll put a 2 over it. Let's sound it out. P-e-n, gwa-i-n. Penguin. The next word is opposite. The opposite of dark is light. Opposite. How many syllables in opposite? 3. That's right. We will say to spell op-po-sit. What will we say to spell? Op-po-sit. All right, the first syllable is op. Op. The second syllable is po. P-o. The third syllable is sit. S-it. Go ahead and write op-po-sit. Sound it out as you write it. That way you'll get every phonogram. Good job. That's right. All right, now help me write it. The first syllable is op, ah, p. The second syllable is po, p, o. The third syllable is sit, s, it. You know what? I forgot to tell you something. You need a silent final E. Can you add a silent final E to yours? All right, let's go ahead and talk about this word. So we will put a line over the O. Why? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And then we have this silent final E, and we'll double underline it because we double underline the silent final E to show that it's silent. But why is it there? Why is it in the word opposite? That's right, this is an unseen reason. Once again, there are 9 reasons for a silent final E, and every now and then there's words that we just don't know why it's there. It just is. There aren't that many, but this is one example. Let's go ahead and read this. Op-o-sit, opposite. The next word is where. Where is my coat? Where. Go ahead and say where. Let's sound it out. W-e-r, silent final E. That's right, I remembered it this time. Go ahead and write where. Good. Now help me to write it. W-e-r, silent final E. How will we mark it? We'll underline the W. And why do we have a silent final E in where? You're right. Once again, this is an unseen reason. And one of the reasons, there's 2 of them here, is we want you to learn these words by me teaching them to you. Many of the words where there's silent final E's, you'll already know why they're there. So we'll teach some of these trickier words explicitly to help you. Let's go ahead and read it. W-e-r, where. Excellent. The next word is how. How do you know how to spell words? You break them up into phonograms, right? Let's go ahead and say the word how. How. Let's sound it out. Ow. This is an ow-o. Got it? Go ahead and write it. Sound it out nice and loud as you do. Oh, that was a relief. It was a short one. Let's write it together. Ow. And how will we mark it? That's right. We'll underline the ow. What sound of ow-o? The first one. Let's read it. Ow. How. The next word is polar. The polar bears live up in the Arctic. Go ahead and say polar. How many syllables in polar? 2. We will say to spell polar. What will we say to spell? Polar. You got it. Let's sound it out. First syllable is po. P-o. Second syllable is lar. L-r. Go ahead and write polar. Good job sounding it out. Now help me to write it. First syllable is po. P-o. Second syllable is lar. L-r. How will we mark it? We'll put a line over the O. Why did the O say its long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And we'll underline the R. Now, did you notice when you say polar, it doesn't sound like polar? Well, R, this phonogram, also has a schwa sound, and that sound is So when it's in an unstressed syllable, that may say Let's read it. P-o-l-r, polar. Very good. The next word is morning. Good morning, everyone. Go ahead and say morning. How many syllables in morning? 2. We will say to spell morning. Ready? Morning. Very good. The first syllable is more. Or. The second syllable is ning. N-e-ng. Got it? Go ahead and write morning. Very, very good. All right, help me to write it. The first syllable is more. Or. The second syllable is ning. N-e-ng. How will we mark it? We'll underline the or, and we'll underline the ng. Let's read it. Or n-e-ng. Morning. Outstanding. The last word is different. I have a different idea for us to think about. Different. Go ahead and say different. How many syllables in different? That's right, 3. We will say to spell different. What will we say to spell? Different. First syllable is diff. D-if. Second syllable is fur. Use the of her. Third syllable is ent. E-nt. Go ahead and write different. Very good. Now help me to write it. The first syllable is diff. D-if. The second syllable is fur. The third syllable is ent. E-nt. And how will we mark it? You're right, we'll underline the Let's read this together. D-if-er-ent. Different. Wow, look at these words that you can read and that you can spell now. Isn't it neat how all the phonograms and rules start to come together?
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at foundations.logicofenglish.com.